accessible.
Is I was really desperately trying to learn about evolution when Richard Dawkins has this one video. Yes, this is it. This is it right here. We have to watch this just because this is the video that sent me over the top where I said, oh my God, Richard Dawkins, who's supposed to be the #1 authority on evolution, cannot explain it at all. And I realized, oh my God, these guys are just believers in religion. He reminds me of the priests that I used to work with. That they just can get by, but they don't really know what they're doing.
Okay, thank you very much.
This is the funniest thing you've ever
Let's go to
seen.
this lady over here. Thank you.
So funny.
It's fairly easy to imagine how apes can develop into humans, but I don't find it as easy to imagine how bacteria can develop into apes.
Right.
Could you describe some of the species in between?
Now watch him
Yes.
here.
The question says it's easy to imagine how apes could evolve into humans, but it's harder to imagine how bacteria could evolve into apes.
Right.
Well, one very important difference is that the time it took for apes to change into humans is a matter of perhaps 5 million years, whereas the time it took for bacteria to evolve into apes was a matter of thousands of millions of years. So it is a huge difference. And what the human imagination is capable of...
Now that's all they have. They have the long time. This is why they have the time scale. So they can say, well, the amount of time from it's so stupid. Bacteria into thinking human beings, or into a hippopotamus, or into a T-Rex. Okay? To think that with this, natural selection, it's retarded. And so to explain it is going to take either some great word salad, or he's going to expose his retardation here, as he's about to explain how in a couple thousand millions of years, which I don't even think is right, I believe all life supposedly evolved in the last billion, they say, or something, isn't it? I don't think there was life here for like the first 3 billion, according to what they say. But anyway, let's listen to it. It's hilarious.
Visualizing gets more and more difficult the longer
so
the time
teach us.
span is
you know about
that
it.
you have to cope with.
Teach us.
So the intermediates that you might expect to see would be, well, starting with bacteria, an early intermediate would be some kind of protozoan.
Oh, a protozoan.
That's to say, a single-celled animal, much more complicated than a bacterium, because it's a eukaryotic cell, which means that it's actually a kind of society of bacteria.
Okay.
The eukaryotic cell, which is all our cells, and protozoan cells, things like amoebas, are complex societies of bacteria.
Okay.
Bacteria actually came together in an agglomeration, working together to form this much larger, much more complex cell.
Yes.
A next stage in the intermediates would be a coming together of those cells, those eukaryotic cells, to form multicellular bodies, something like a sponge. A next stage would be perhaps something like a sea anemone, which has an inside.
Reminding you, no species has ever changed to a species before. It's never been noticed in science. Reminder, no bacteria has ever evolved into something other than a bacteria. But he just skipped past that. Scientific, though, what he's about to talk about. But pay no attention to the fact that it's never been shown ever. So, or single cell to a double cell. It just haven't been shown.
And an outside and has a feeding mechanism. The next stage would be something like a worm.
Oh, a worm, yeah.
Which has a front and a back and a left side and a right side.
Right.
And which propels itself along the sea bottom. The next stage might be something like a fish. Which, well, we know what a fish looks like.
Yeah, but how did we went from a worm to a fish? The worm became the fish? You just gonna just skip right through that? The worm, which propels itself on the sea bottom, just has babies that become swimming fish with fins and gills. Reproductive system, digestive system. Okay. I got it.
Then, much later still, some fish started emerging from the water.
Right. The fish got out of the water. They just were like, you know, I'm tired of this water. I want to be on the land. I'm going to grow. Well, I'm not going to grow my legs myself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hope that my grandson's grandson grows a toe. And then after a couple million years, we'll have a leg. And then we'll get on the shore.
And we have extremely good fossil evidence of this stage in evolution when fish emerged from the water and became amphibians.
Oh, amphibians.
At a later stage still, these amphibians no longer needed to go back to water to reproduce and became reptiles. At a later stage still, they became mammal-like reptiles. Instead of going along with their feet splayed out sideways.
Even though we still have crocodiles and alligators that do exactly this. But anyway, this guy knows better than anybody.
Like a lizard, they rose with their limbs more vertical, and they may have grown hair at this stage. We don't know whether they grew hair.
they may have rose. What do you mean rose? You could just go to walking on. Why don't horses just start walking on 2 feet? What are they doing? What are cows doing? Don't they want to rise? Don't they want to get up on their? Don't they want to evolve?
At this stage, and walked on all fours, and there was a magnificent flowering of mammal-like reptiles.
Oh, flowering.
Actually, before the dinosaurs.
Oh.
During the period of the dinosaurs, the mammals went rather into eclipse. When the dinosaurs went extinct 65 million years ago, the mammals started to flourish and flower and produce the magnificent range of mammals that we see today, among whom were some rather shrew-like ones who went into the trees.
Monkeys.
And became adept at swinging through the trees.
Yes.
Some of them became adept at swinging from their arms rather than their legs.
Oh.
It's called brachiation.
Oh, brachiation.
And they lost their tails. They became the apes. And that's where you wanted me to stop.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're writing everything down.
What a good job. What a good job.
What's your problem? I said, what's your problem?